Back in the 90s, America got so worried about its intellectual property overseas that it pushed heavily for the World Trade Organization to, build an agreement that said that intellectual property had to be protected overseas by countries that were part of this agreement. But the EU, smartly, didn't trust us that well, or they wanted at least an assurance, right? A safety switch, so to speak, so that if America ever got weird, they could just point and click and then everything would break. See, the failsafe on the intellectual property is they don't have to protect our intellectual property anymore, since we're violating their economies with undue force by using tariffs and things like that. We are trying to push them around so they get to use the failsafe now. And the failsafe says we're not going to protect your intellectual property anymore. Also, none of your companies can have contracts with our governments and our EU government. You can't. Uh-oh. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And the thing is that we're the ones who demanded or made the loopholes necessary. We were so fucking pushy, okay, that about our intellectual property, that they decided to, okay, fine, we'll do the intellectual property thing, but we're going to keep a failsafe, right? Right. Because we were so angry about it, so pushy. Okay. But the other thing is, this whole triggering of the bazooka, we're the ones who started that. See, the bazooka was built because of Donald Trump's actions during 2018 when he started putting tariffs on people, and also a couple other incidents like when China went after Lithuania. So they decided, using tariffs to economically harass one another, super not cool within this union. We're not gonna be down with that. So we're just gonna pull the plug and not have any of your companies be a part of our economy. Yeah. See, we have either built or initiated the need for every single thing about to come down on our head. Do you get what I'm saying? Our currency was entirely dependent upon the bonds held by other countries. Our value of our currency is dependent on this. And the reason other countries would buy our bonds was because we were serious about the rule of law with regard to financial stuff. We had institutions that we upheld with regard to financial stuff. But when the president of the United States either disassembles, ignores, or just plain doesn't care about those institutions and tries throwing his weight around, they get really skeptical of our ability to be a stable currency. They sell their bonds, and then the currency does in fact plummet. We are triggering every single economic thing against us. We are doing it. But see, they can't admit that their bullying is backfiring. So they have to instead lie and say that they've achieved something while making up the difference, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And who is Peter in this instance? Us. Every man. They're going to steal it right out from the fucking treasury. But seeing as how they can't handle life without an extravagant lifestyle, I imagine that most of it's just going to go into bullshit to enrich themselves and their quality of life. And then they're going to find themselves in the Peter-Paul situation yet again. And yet again, we will be Peter. This government is corrupt, and because it's corrupt, it's going to cut us off from the world. Because it's corrupt, it's going to break down our relationships. Because it's corrupt, our economy will become isolated. And then they'll build big palaces and have extravagant gold filigree everywhere. And Melania will have the biggest shoe collection ever. You get what I'm saying? We've seen these patterns before. If the world cuts us off, which they should, we end up an oligarchy. And it's not an oligarchy of any other kind of connection to the country except money. Because keep in mind that some of the people that have the most power in this country are people who are foreign-born, immigrated here, and are still pushing to have ownership of this country. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, both of them have a tremendous amount of pull in our government, in the power structure, in the economy. And yet they don't come from here. Their only connection to this place is money. This is a new thing. A new variation on an old thing. I don't need to be part of a country to take it over. I can just buy into it and buy pieces of it and then buy it out from under them. New thing. Yay, capitalism. This is what happens when religion gets injected into politics. When the economy, faith, and politics become intertwined, this is what happens. Yay, America!